Hello again, this is Craig Cook coming from the law offices of Craig Cook. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the top 5 most common medical errors that can lead to a malpractice case. The first one is failing to assess for falls. This basically is as simple as it sounds. You must assess a patient on every shift to see if they're at risk for falls and how severe of a risk for fall that they are. Ideally, you want this assessment to take place as soon as the patient comes into the hospital and is to be admitted, but it needs to for sure be done on each and every shift. Secondly, failing to implement interventions to prevent falls. In other words, if you see that a patient is at risk for fall or high risk for fall, then you want to implement interventions such as non-skid socks for your feet, bed rails up, everything within reach, water within reach, any remote control, nurse's alarm, have that within reach. If they are at a high fall risk, you need to make sure that you have the bedside commode. Additionally, you want to make sure that you don't give a patient that much more medication is going to cause them to be that much higher of a fall risk. So as a medical care provider, you want to make sure that you monitor that. But what you'll see sometimes in these cases is you'll see that they actually assess for high fall risk throughout the stay, and then when the actual fall occurs, you'll see that they fail to assess on that particular shift. See that they'll also fail to implement interventions. What causes this? Well, short staffing leads to falls, bed sores, and medical errors. Most of the time, the folks that's working in these medical care facilities, with the exception of a few, are generally good people, but they are behind the 8 ball, asking to do too much with too little time, and so you have medical errors that occur, such as the falls, such as the bed sores, such as other medical errors. Number 4, failing to assess to prevent bed sores. This one is something that is becoming more and more prevalent in hospitals, higher care facilities, where you don't put in place, or you don't assess to make sure that your high-risk patients are not susceptible to bed sores. So if you got a person who can't move around a lot, you want to make sure that you turn them every 2 hours. That's what usually the policies and procedures in these facilities are. A lot of times that doesn't happen. Another thing, that if they're at risk for a bed sore, then you want to make sure you get what they call an air loss mattress, which prevents the pressure from being on one particular portion of the torso, i.e. the coccyx or the tailbone, and other places where bones stick out and would cause issues or stress on the tissue. Failing to implement those interventions to treat or prevent bed sores. This is a biggie also. It's like the failure to implement interventions in regards to fall risk patients. You can assess a patient all day long for a fall, but if you don't implement the interventions, you've not done anything. Same way with the preventing bed sores. If you don't implement the interventions to prevent the bed sores, you've not done anything. In other words, you see there's a risk for a bed sore, but you don't do anything to attempt to prevent that bed sore from occurring. And so those are the top five most common medical errors that can lead to a malpractice case. If you have suffered, or you have a loved one that's suffered any of these type of errors, contact us at the law offices of Craig L. Cook by calling us at 479-783-8000, contacting us through our website, lawofficesofcraiglcook.com, or you can email me directly, craig@lawofficesofcraiglcook.com. Thank you.